summer break. You took a summer break. You were 2 episodes in and you took a summer break. I know, guys. I know. Life is a little bit tricky. And we were 2 episodes into Pats Pals. We decided to take a break for the complete month of July. But we're back again because New England Patriot football took place last night as we were recording as the Patriots took down the Washington Commanders in preseason football. Welcome to Pats Pals. My name is Shane.
My name's Skye.
And Skye, we are back. It wasn't planned that we were going to take such a big break because we recorded 2 episodes and then I went on holidays and then things were going a bit mad. But thankfully, Tom Brady's statue being unveiled last night has got us fully into game mode now. And this is it from here till the Super Bowl, potentially. We're right in this for a hot season.
I know, and I feel like, Brady did that quote where he said, "Oh, the Jets are going to throw beers at the statue on the way out." Well, I imagine all the fans that we built up in 2 episodes were probably throwing beers at their laptop screens, being like, "Where have they gone? What's that?" But we were just, we're just setting things up for the big show that's to come.
Yeah, for the big thing. We had to do a couple of warm-ups. There's some contract negotiations. It's a bit like Jerry Jones. We said we wanted to trade. I wanted to go do a Miami Dolphins podcast instead. You were like, no, please, come in. I did like the we will talk about the Tom Brady statue thing, by the way. I did like his jab at the Jets. Out of all teams, to sort of to take a jab at, I was like, oh, Jets fans are going to throw their beers. And I'm like, hang on a second. Have you ever met a Jets fan? They spend way too much money on coffees and everything in New York City. They're not wasting any beer money.
Lattes now, and there's 2025. This generation don't drink beers.
An oat milk latte just being thrown at Tom Brady. Actually, so I guess a couple of things we've missed in the time have begun is obviously all of training camp. Vrabel has taken control of his team. Last night, as we were saying, the Patriots played against the Washington Commanders in Foxborough, 48-18 win in preseason. But I guess, actually, this is an interesting one for you because obviously you with the Franchise Tag guys and myself with the Irish NFL show have been doing our divisional previews, going division by division. How much do you care about preseason games?
Not a lot. I mean, even a friend of mine who doesn't, we talked about fantasy football earlier, and he went, because he was talking about the Stevenson Henderson, timeshare, and saying like, oh, I saw the big play, his first touch and this and that, but Stevenson's got a new deal. And I was like, mate, it's preseason. I said, all it is trying to get through and your players who are already established not being injured and giving the young guys snaps. Like Drake May hardly plays. You get to see a bit from your backups, but it's good, obviously, I think it's just, again, it sounds cheesy with the culture element, but it is that, right? You're trying to build that camaraderie, try and get everyone's morale on board, spirits. The wins help. I do think it is important to still win. I think a lot of people don't say that. Maybe in our football, it's important to win, but I think even in the NFL it is, right? Because there's not as many games anymore in preseason.
That's an interesting one. You care if the Patriots went 0-3 in this preseason, you would see that as a problem.
A bit, yeah, because I think that then Vrabel or whichever teams are 0-3, you have to go into the season and then you'd give that team talk of like, oh, don't worry, guys, it was only preseason. The real football starts today. But even one win helps you. And you can sort of pick off on like, oh, that game didn't go our way because of whatever. But maybe that's just me caring too much about not wanting to see 0-3. We're used to seeing like, we even had 16-0. I don't want 0-3.
16-0. We were actually just talking about the Giants before we came on air, and you had to mention that season. You had to mention that season.
I said 16, so I could have raised the playoffs.
You can't help yourself. I think that the Patriots are playing the Giants in preseason as well, which is unusual that we're playing them in preseason and in regular season. They play in a Monday Night Football in the first weekend of December as well. I think what's interesting about preseason, though, is that I don't really care. I'm not trying to learn about scheme. I'm not trying to learn about quarterbacks, but it's rookie watch, basically, is what you're looking at. I mean, Shedeur Sanders, we're probably the only podcast recording today, Saturday, 9th of August, that isn't starting off the top talk about Shedeur Sanders and the performance that he had for the Browns last night, because he made some good throws, but he was left running away, and this whole culture war debate is starting on Twitter. I'm like, lads, I really don't know how much we should actually be reading into this, but at the same time, Travion Henderson pulls off this absolutely amazing. And I stayed up to watch the first quarter. I'll be honest, I didn't stay up to watch the rest of it. I was catching up on highlights afterwards. But when I flicked on at midnight last night, and Travion Henderson, 100 yards, takes it back to the house. Both of them were Cordy twins were on commentary as well, which is a nice touch.
And number 32, Devin's own number.
I know, that's what I mean. It's all there. I'm like, this is brilliant. This is exactly what I want to see. Travion Henderson, what a performance. So I guess, you've had a chance to digest it probably as much as I have. How much can we take away from this game? Because the Commanders sat most of their starters. They didn't play Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.
The Patriots did play Drake May for a bit in the first quarter, but they didn't field him for much of the rest. Ben Woolridge and the pastronaut Josh Jobs having a few snaps as well. But I think the big thing they were definitely trying to establish was that run game. Travion Henderson was more active in the passing game than it was the run game. I think he got 3 receptions, only got 1 carry. Ramondre Stevenson getting a lot of carries, Lan Larson getting a lot of carries. So what are your main takeaways from this performance, if we can really read too much into it at all?
I think the main thing was I got the impression of like not panicking, the typical Josh McDaniels scheme of happy to run it on the first 2 downs, and we've still got our game plan and we'll convert regardless. And it might not always work out that way, but I think that's the calmest you want in terms of developing Drake May, right? Because we've seen already him take hits and concussions and stuff, and having a coaching staff which has experience winning in McDaniel's sense, and also Vrabel's obviously done well at Tennessee, and as a player, it's just gonna, I think, be the perfect thing. And yeah, that was the main thing I took from it. But obviously, I said to you, I didn't stay up. I watched the extended highlights, so I've seen the majority of it. But annoyingly, in a group chat, the result was spoilt for me. So I was like, okay, we've won. But then I see him running, and I'm thinking, what? No, I don't. And then I'm just like, what? Henderson? And I think the other thing that stood out for me, apart from the obvious, was the secondary seemed to play with a lot of intensity, a lot of press coverage, not giving any separation to the Commanders receivers. And regardless of who's playing against who, you still want to see that intensity. And again, that comes from the coaching staff. So look, it's only one game. But I mean, why would you not be excited, right? After what we went through last year? You should be.
Yeah, I think the enthusiasm is there, and you got the sense from a lot of what's happening in Foxborough. The enthusiasm is there, and I don't think it's just because Tom Brady was in and there was a festival around him. I think you listen to the people who are watching training camp; they're happy with, they're happy with how the run game is going. They're happy with how the coaching is going. They're happy with how the rookies are progressing. I have to say, by the way, Will Campbell had a couple of really strong plays as
I know.
As offensive. See, again, it just I think for Henderson's 1 carry, and all the people talk about Henderson. Look at the way Will Campbell goes in that play. If it's on the Patriots,
straight locking the outside, and they said on the edge, just like there.
But he kept going. He fucking mowed him down. There was
a Gronk, that ending the run, ending the block, not just blocking the full way.
And that's exactly the kind of aggression which I think we didn't see even in the preseason for a lot of areas last year when Jerome Mayo was taking charge. There's a proper aggression and a desire to prove to yourself to be the best, which definitely wasn't there for most of last season. Now, again, I know I prefaced most of this conversation by saying I don't know how much we should really read into the preseason, look at the quality of opponent they're facing against. But I think the biggest thing you could take from preseason, both in terms of training camp and what's happening on the field, is attitude. And what the Patriots are getting now is a proper aggressive attitude to come and take things down. And I don't know. I'm starting to get more excited. That semi-pessimism I had at the start of the year, even though I did say we get 9-8 when we went through the schedule. Yeah. Like I said, semi-pessimism. I was on Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover. Those guys invited me on, and I was like, I'm a pessimistic Boston sports fan, and I was like, I think we're going to be 9-8, and they're like, that's a stupid thing to say. Both of those things are stupid things to say. I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's weird.
I haven't reflected on that. I just think that our friend who through me, Justin, was saying to me, he was saying he would rather have a 7 and 10 year where you build again in the draft and then spend again. And I said to him, but annoyingly, when you look at the schedule, I just think that it's fallen kindly for us. And I think that's where my optimism comes from, and the new coaching staff and what they're building. But yeah, and annoyingly, we might end up probably with a better record than probably where the team's at. But that's still good for young players' confidence. You still can't, so.
It's an unusual one as to what we can really expect sitting here. Looking at the schedule, does a 7 and 10 mean that there's a lot of games where people has failed to close out? Because there's a difference between losing and getting beaten. You can lose. I remember actually the Patriots 2 years ago against the Raiders in Vegas. Remember this one? Was completely through the game.
Chandler Jones one.
Yeah, exactly. So like those are the kind of games that frustrate me, because you come away with the L, but you weren't beaten. You found a way to mess
beat
it up. You
yourself.
didn't take control. You could have closed games out, but you didn't. Like I don't know if you're seeing the SEC, what's it called again? Any Given Saturday, the thing that's on
Oh
Netflix
no,
now.
not yet.
It's good. You should watch it. But they're talking about Vanderbilt in the run up before their famous win against Alabama, and the week beforehand they had a game against Missouri where they were the better team, but they lost because they just threw things away and they didn't let themselves get beaten, but they lost. And those are the kinds of games that I hate. And I think that looking at it at the season now, if the Patriots end up 7-10, I completely get the point that it's a step forward and you can rebuild and whatever. But would that indicate that there are games that the Patriots should have won, but they let themselves get over? Because it's different if you just go into Buffalo and you're beaten because Buffalo are an excellent team.
Yeah.
That happens. That's going to happen. That's the NFL. You were beaten then. It's going to happen against Kansas City. It's going to happen against the Eagles. They're going to be a team who are going to beat a lot of teams this year. That's what the Patriots did during their dynasty years. They beat a lot of teams. They didn't wait for teams to mess it up, unless you're the Atlanta Falcons, obviously. But they went in and beat a lot of teams. So that to me is an area which I'm looking forward to seeing how the preseason goes, to see to what extent that Vrabel mindset is affecting the mental metal of the team. But on last night in the first quarter, when they really had to go out and sort of take the game, there were 17 points to nil up at the end of the quarter. I was pretty pleased.
I was happy. And I know I said to you before we came on, because I mentioned him in the previous episode, he's been getting rave reviews in training camp. Old Efton Chisholm III. He's the next generation of the 5'10" white boy slot receiver. I'm telling you, he did it all. The blocking, could have had 2 touchdowns. Had one. Obviously, it was good for a preseason debut. And the Patriots love a good story like that. And also, I thought of you actually when I was watching the highlights earlier, because Romo's kicking, and I was like, we could have our own Romo.
I did see that as well. I was like, I don't know, Jim, is it going over the bar? Oh, no.
I was like, we've got our own Romo. Hopefully he can stay as a kicker, and then I can carry that on. But yeah, I don't know. I think I might already be pre-ordering that 86 Chisholm jersey, because they're still doing the whole thing of like, oh, is he going to make the roster? Who he's competing against? Baker and the other guys. I guess those sort of guys fighting for it more. Obviously, Polk's a few injuries, but you would still keep a guy like that on your roster to develop him, because it's a bit like a Swiss Army knife. You know those guys, how it's been with your Amendolas, your Edelmans. And also another thing that I forgot to say from yesterday when I was watching, I feel like I time traveled. You said at the beginning, Larison, he was wearing 34, and I was like, did Rex Burkhead come back? So I was like, what? And then I was like, no, wait, it's a new rookie. But no, it's just great to see these guys do. And I think regardless of what happens for them, if they then end up, not making the roster or snapped up by another practice squad, it's just good for their own development. And to have a big win, no matter who's playing or whatever, to have an emphatic win like that is great. I don't know why the Commanders rested so many starters, but I think we just, from what I read and saw, showed them up all week with the joint practice. Drake May was outperforming Daniels, and maybe they just thought, we don't want the smoke. We'll rest our guys up and see you later.
But the Commanders have a different level of expectation this year. I mean, if this is this time last year, or even if they had a season similar to what we were sort of expecting them to put out last year, there was probably more pressure on them to really, I guess, get more legs and minutes into their starters. I think they're already thinking in a preservation mode. Or maybe it's just some PTSD kicking for Dan Quinn. I don't want to even be in a close game with these Patriots, because we already messed a big one up against these guys. So we might as well just go in and just let Tom Brady's procession be the procession it was. Speaking of Tom Brady, by the way, I'm the only person who thinks of this, and it's funny because you see the quotes from Brady. Obviously, he had his joke about the Jets.
Yeah,
there was one where he was complimenting the guys who. The artist who put together the statue, and he pulls out his phone as a joke and be like, sorry, that was Coach Belichick. There's still room for improvement. And I'm looking at him like, there is room for improvement. It doesn't look like him at all. I don't think.
I didn't get the one arm. I think it looks like him, and clearly it's not like the Dwayne Wade or Cristiano Ronaldo one. Like, at least we know it's Tom Brady. That's a good start. But yeah, I don't know, the one arm in the end, I kind of want, like, when he's shouting like the let's go, or I guess that would have been harder to do the details of, but also kind of wanted maybe like 2011 mullet Brady. Why didn't we get that?
Oh, that's what I mean. I want like with the
Yeah.
with the paint under the eyes. You know, that's the
Laser
proper
focus,
stuff.
like, or maybe
Where's the chin hole? Where's the little chin hole? You know what I mean? I'm not seeing that, but it's more like if you actually look at the hair, and I know I'm such an untalented man with
we're
no talent
critiquing the
for
art.
hands for art, right? But it annoys me because it reminds me more of a cast member of SNL whose name escapes me, but Mikey Day. You ever seen Mikey Day? He's a cast member of Saturday Night Live. Look him up. Anybody who's not listening or who doesn't.
Oh yeah, I know.
I thought it looked like him dressed playing Tom Brady on Saturday Night Live. And again, it's statues are difficult things to do. And hey, whenever we go to Foxborough, when we take the Pass Pal podcast on the road one of these years, Skye, we'll have to make sure we
statue images now. And yeah, I mean, I think it looks great. I love how the jersey looks and all that. I just feel like the hair might have looked a bit like he's had a trip to Turkey.
I mean,
he's not at that point in his life.
To be fair, Tom Brady is looking like somebody who's getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars to be on Fox. There is a level of beauty being taken care of that man. Even if you compare it to where he was in 2019 when he still looked like a human being, where now he looks more. Did I go there?
You went. You got that excited about Tom Brady's looks. That's normally me. That everything. The universe froze.
I actually think that the CAA are listening to me now. They're finding ways to just shut me up. How dare you criticize Tom Brady and how he looks?
No, I mean, all I was going to say was obviously he looks great. He's got all that money, and with the off season he's had, I mean, some of the stories. I mean, he's living his best life.
Well, the off season he's had, but yet the biggest thing that's come out for me is the clips that you're seeing. And I haven't watched the documentary, but I've spoken to people who have watched it. The one about Birmingham City, where he's turning around.
I don't usually watch those. Weirdly, it's me being a big football fan. I don't really watch any of them. But yeah, what has been said?
The only one I watched was the Tottenham Hotspur one because Jose Mourinho during COVID was box office. He is box office. I used to hate Jose. I love Jose when he's not managing in England or when he's not managing Chelsea specifically.
Is there a Brady Rooney interaction? One of my mates mentioned.
That's the thing. There's a weird Brady Rooney interaction, and Brady turns around and goes, "I don't like the work ethic of our head coach." But yet there's a part earlier in the program where he comes in, and Dan Patrick called him out on this, where he was like, "So Birmingham, are there any other teams in town?" I had to be like, "Yeah, Aston Villa. They're our biggest rivals. They're over there." And I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, you're complaining about work ethic. You can't go on Wikipedia and look up Birmingham City and try to figure out who their local rivals are.
Yeah,
Wayne Rooney's work ethic.
Because that area with West Brom, Wolves, like it's a bit, it's really intense around there. Yeah,
huge. So I don't know. That's a small thing running around my head.
I can't watch it because you know how much I love Rooney and Brady. Like that's too much world colliding for me. Like
the idea is you're two heroes fighting.
Well, I'll be like, no, come on. Just get your medals out on the table, have a chat, have a beer.
Do you know what I want next? I want a football life, but a football life of like Alex Ferguson and Bill Belichick interviewing each other just to see what happens.
With a bottle of wine.
I don't know. Would Bill Belichick be allowed to drink a bottle of wine? Would his girlfriend allow him?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I forgot what I was going to say about Rooney and Brady. Now, I was going to say it's mad that Rooney's younger than him.
Jesus. When you put it like that,
Brady found that out and probably was like,
do you remember the ad, the Nike ad where Rooney turns old and he lives in a caravan?
Yeah.
He actually looks worse than the CGI job.
Yeah, and that might be how Brady would look if he didn't have Sidney Sweeney and his boats. But he doesn't about that.
Imagine if he just kept himself at mullet man and that's about as far as it went. But look, I guess we could shit talk about Tom Brady all night. It's great to see him coming back and there's enthusiasm there. Interesting. I was there thinking could have not done it during the regular season. I forgot, of course, he's going to be on commentary duty. I think he's doing the Giants Commanders game.
I thought the same. I thought especially Raiders. Just the
that whole thing.
Commentary,
yeah. So he is going to be doing the Giants. The Giants Commanders game. So anyway, on to things more pressing. And I guess we've already spoken a bit about this, but I just want to I just want to make the point in terms of how we look at Vrabel and McDaniels and how we're looking forward to the vibes that are coming out of them. But also, I just want to make a quick point of comparison with our rivals. And you love this because there's a shot at Miami here, and you love this guy. But we saw the news reports coming out last week that Mike Vrabel was breaking up fights on the field. There was a cut. You could visibly see there was some sort of a cut on his face last night. You heard both of them, McCourty twins, talking about how how excited he is with the fact that he generally doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. Just praising him. We get a sense of leadership. We're all very excited. There's the Twitterverse being like, you didn't see Draw Mayo doing that, which is potentially unfair, but that's the nature of narrative and momentum. You see that that in Miami, Mr. Mike McDaniel was also in breaking up a skirmish as the Dolphins and Bears broke up, and everyone's been turning around and being like, well, the Dolphins are obviously finished. If he's going in there, because in fairness, what's coming out of the training camp in Miami is the fact that the pass game is not looking great, the run game is not looking great.
Mm-hmm.
You seen Tua Tagovailoa come out in the press, and did you see this? He turns around to the media and he was like, guys, I bet you can't do what I can do, and he starts recounting like the play calls, the snaps.
Did he?
Yeah. It was like, repeat that back to me. It was repeat that back to me. And even Mike McDaniel's appearance on the Rich Eisen show, I thought was slightly unusual. He seemed to go defensive then not defensive, and I don't know. And it's interesting. And the reason
want to be liked in Miami. Sorry, it's just a thing of like, I know I'm going back to the fan base of cool colors, Miami, nice city, but like the team also wants to be liked. There's a lot of the reason I'm smiling when you're telling me all this without me seeing it is because I've been saying for like they're overrated. A few sexy plays, but they can't get it done.
This is the point I want to make, because Adam Rank, who we both had a chance to hang out with, great guy, he did his game by game for all 32 teams previews of what's going on. And he's not alone in this. A lot of people have picked this out. Week 2, New England going down to Miami. Miami are going to win that game. And I'm like, I get the weather argument. I get the argument that New England generally don't do well in Miami. But how can you look at the way that these head coaches are acting, the way that the teams are acting, the fact that Tyreek Hill is still that cloud is hanging over Miami, the Tua cloud is hanging over Miami, and there's so much good momentum going into what's happening in New England. It might take a while for a few things to really filter out. How can you look at that and still think that Miami are somehow going to come away and win that game?
Yeah,
I don't get it. And a lot of people think that. I'm very much in a minority, and I was someone who liked Mike McDaniel. I've changed my opinion on him since, but I don't know, that game to me is so important, I think, in the trajectory of both of these franchises, and people are still looking at it as a surf for Miami, and I don't get it.
That's because people get caught up on the past of like, oh, Brady might have. There's a few places where we struggled, but I also think it's interesting that you said that, because it ties into obviously when we did our game by game, and I said about week 1 Raiders, right? They're building their own culture there with Pete Carroll and the stuff that's going on. They got playmakers. And then people are like, oh, Patriots home week 1. I'm like, hang on a minute. They got like a new superstar running back, a head coach who has won a Super Bowl, and they actually have good things going on. Like, I would more lean towards them winning and then us winning in Miami, because like you said, the Dolphins are in disarray. But people
100%. And even with Geno Smith flipping off the Seattle Seahawks fans, to see that?
Yeah.
Like there is a franchise that is coming from rock bottom but is moving in the right direction. Miami aren't.
People just think of but most people, I think, and to be fair, if Adam Rank does this, it's not me saying that he's one of those, because we've been with him and I think he actually is very honest with his comments. But I think people nowadays they just remember the most recent things in their head from last year, and maybe a bit too like, scared's not the right word, but it's just easy to go, oh yeah, Pats don't do well in Miami, we're going to lose. But no, it's different. There's a different change within both franchises. And like you said, it is important, because I might have egg on my face if, it's the one time Tua decides to turn up, because is he not won? He's won every game, hasn't he? Is that the
yes,
record?
He's won every game Tua has won every game he's played against the Patriots. The Dolphins haven't, because there was whenever he's been injured, the Patriots have been able to nick a win or two. But
so I'm just not sold on them. And again, sorry, I know this is almost like a callback to what we were saying at the beginning, but this is the same way where I say that we might, even if we get to 10 or 11 wins, our team probably maybe doesn't. When I say doesn't warrant that, it's maybe because we're playing teams like Miami, the Jets, Giants, Titans, Saints. We're including the divisions there. We've peeled off about 7 games, where these are teams that when you are a young up-and-coming team going in a positive direction, you should be beating, at least if you want to take the right steps. So, I mean, you know what? I'm just going to stick my whole paycheck on us to beat the Dolphins in week 2.
The whole paycheck. I understand. Again, I'm just looking at the stats here. The Patriots are 5-10 against Dolphins on the road since 2010. Whole paycheck? Whole paycheck? Okay,
no,
come
not
on.
The whole paycheck.
I want that Bill Belichick's coming in. Come on.
I just always think of like Andy Davis, obviously our friend Miami. They'd be like, my favorite Dolphins game is that one where we, like the end where Gronk was like, it was like I can't even remember who scored the touchdown because it annoys me that much. But they had the walk-off touchdown, and everyone's like, the Patriots are in disarray. Well, guess what? We went and won another bloody Super Bowl that same year. So have your good memory because you're still shit.
My God. We've come back off the hot of a few weeks break. We've alienated Tom Brady fans, Wayne Rooney fans, Dolphins fans, not all Tom Brady fans.
Alienated Brady fans. We love him. We just say that the statue needs a few adjustments.
Oh, we've alienated the artists on the statue. We're never getting a statue outside Foxborough, so that's fine. Who else do we want to alienate? Come on, let's keep it in. Let's alienate Jets fans next week because I want to see them play. They're playing tonight, I think, against is it tonight or tomorrow? They're playing the preseason game against the Packers. So interested in seeing that. But we're on a run. We speak too freely on this show because the two of us. Because again, like,
is that refreshing to people? I think in Boston media, people do speak freely, no?
In Boston, people speak freely. They don't give a shit what you think. They just tell you exactly what you think.
We just you're accepted. You're Irish. I'm just trying to find a way in.
You're English. It is New England.
Yeah, but they threw our tea in. Oh, here we go. Tea in the harbour.
Our tea. You say our tea. Oh no.
Oh yeah, I weren't there.
My beautiful tea. The PG tips was thrown out.
I don't even like tea, and you know this. I don't even drink warm drinks.
Oh, you should only have tried a Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. That's the main. That's currency in Boston.
Yeah.
So
well,
I don't know.
Go on.
It does. I've seen. You ever seen the movie The Town? Ben Affleck. Yeah. I watched it. I watched it for the first time there last week. It's funny how so many of the scenes are in a Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like, Boston people, I go this, and then just the audacity to have a final shootout scene in Fenway Park. You gotta love it, man. You like no one else.
I can't quote it, but that's why. Have you ever watched that Side Talk NYC, where it's like all the crazy things that happens in New York? It's an Instagram page, and when the Knicks got a win in the playoffs, there was a reference to doing something with Dunkin' Donuts, and I was like, "Yeah, Boston is known for that." So the New Yorkers were, I know, but hey, each city's got their own quirks, right? But but I think we're in a good place though. It's going to be exciting rest of the preseason. Even if it does turn into 2 losses, I'm just excited for week 1 and for what's building. And I'm finally over this thing now that I mentioned in our opening episode when we spoke about things of I don't know about Vrabel because you're going back on a mistake. But I'm glad that I'm like I always wanted him, and even just seeing him on the sideline feels right. Like I felt that it just feels right.
I think that's the biggest point we could take away from last night is when I saw him on the sideline and he's there in the coaching and Mike McDaniel as well, because I was originally of the opinion if you asked me Mike McDaniel, Josh McDaniel,
sorry,
Josh McDaniel, you are 100% right to pick me up on that. That is a disgrace. That is a sackable offense.
You don't want him on our sideline.
No. But Josh McDaniels, it was interesting seeing him in his Patriots gear as well. He just seems at home in a way that
right looking at it.
So people are just.
It's like the boys are back. I hope if I say boys are back enough times, you'll reappear. I guess while Shane's gone, we'll talk through Mike Vrabel's top touchdowns, referring to one in this Super Bowl, Eagles Patriots. Gave it the old celebration. Great day, 2005. I was just talking about Vrabel scoring a touchdown against the Eagles to fill the time. I was just
see my Wi-Fi completely shut down again. My Wi-Fi heard me referring to Josh McDaniel as Mike McDaniel and decided to.
I was doing this when Vrabel scored the touchdown against the Eagles. I was talking about
Vrabel's touchdown. Don't do that. When you wave your arms to that, I can see your Man United tattoo. This is not, I'm not having.
Yeah, I know. Should I get a Patriots one?
I definitely think you should. I'm surprised you haven't already, to be honest with you. I only realized today, today's the first day that we've become friends on Facebook, and I've just realized your cover picture is of Belichick, Brady, and I think Kraft. Is it Kraft? No, maybe it isn't, but it's definitely Belichick and Brady anyway. I think it's probably Gronk.
That's the sign of true friends when you haven't been, it's almost been 2 years and you actually are not Facebook friends, because we didn't need that. It's of Edelman.
Edelman, sorry.
And
so look, I guess
2019, yeah.
So that is us next week on Saturday, 16th of August. The Vikings play against the Patriots in a preseason game. Interesting to see how much we will see of JJ McCarthy, how much, and the Florida's defense as well, to see what we can sort of trick.
I have one thing.
Go for it.
We forgot to say. Not even needs to be. I'm interested to see in the next couple of games in the red zone. It was the perfect thing to have Dobbs as your backup with Drake May. I hate when teams now have a polarizing or opposite, whatever word you want to use, style of quarterback, because each time we were in the red zone, it was like, oh, receivers are covered, scramble, touchdown.
It's funny because I had that thought when I was watching the Seahawks game. Jalen Milroe is a very different type of quarterback to Sam Darnold, and I think, and like, is that a benefit for them?
You want your offense to learn, though, right? You want it to tick regardless, and it also helps with the reps and Drake May learning. And obviously, I just thought of Dobbs then when you were saying Vikings next week. So I think I think we'll see a lot through the season of, like, we now have that dual threat in terms of trying to maximize it. Yeah,
exactly. So anyway, UK and Ireland time, 6 o'clock on Saturday. Vikings Patriots, for those who want to watch it. I think it's available for free on Game Pass. Should we do a podcast afterwards? Saturday evening, Sunday morning?
I won't wear my Favre Vikings jersey.
I think you should. Wait, sorry, Brett Favre. I think you definitely should. I think 100% should. 100%. In fact, if you're not wearing that, like, for the whole week on the tube, I'll
almost say on the tube. I'll hang it next to I don't know. I'll think of a player. I don't know who. One from that era. At least it's not a Favre Jets jersey.
No, because we're already doing one where you're wearing a Jets jersey and I'm wearing a Dolphins jersey later on in the season. So, this is just to really get it in. But
you know what? One thing before actually we should do. We should pick we should have to buy the other person the jersey.
As in, no, because I'm not forking over money to the Jets. That means I have to buy you a Jets
I'll buy
jersey.
my own. Okay, let's buy one and see who can come up with the most creative, like, player on the back or like reference, which is somehow linked to the. I'm not wearing a Mark Sanchez one though.
Do you know what I'm doing? Right, I'm going to get you a Jets jersey, but on the back, I'm not going to have a name. I'm just going to have the napkin. I resign as the HC of the NYJ, just printed in a big thing in the back. And that's it, done. We're in business. Or I just get you a T-shirt, and on the front of it is a picture of all the Sopranos characters watching the Jets game, because I know you. That's why you love them, really.
Yeah, and Larry David, but
Okay, now you said Larry David. I'm back in. I actually need to go back and start watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. But for now, that's this week's Pal. Slightly shorter than usual. We will have probably more to talk about after the second preseason game. But yeah, Skye, good to talk to you again. The summer break is over. We're finally at the football season.
Always a pleasure, Shane, and thanks everyone for tuning in. And we'll see everyone when we're 2-0 next week.
Hey.